Okay,
Welcome back, guys, to the Everything Goes podcast. I'm no longer in my car. I am in a tiny setup right now trying to get everything situated. We had about a 20-minute mic malfunction with
No, he didn't.
the lovely father
No, he didn't.
of the podcast.
It's your crap mixer you bought.
It's not my crap mixer because Ace was on my
the
side.
blame game.
You know, we walked him through it.
You
There's
didn't
a
walk
lot
me
to
through
talk about
anything.
sports. I feel like, it's a very tense podcast right now. Come on, take a deep breath. I had my first day on the job today. It was a good day. You got some new Wi-Fi over there. Look at your skin. It's looking nice and fluorescent compared to my nice tan beachy skin over here.
Okay, you're down there one day, freaking sun poison boy. Settle down. Your legs are whiter than mine. Relax. Relax.
It's slow down.
Okay, just remember hurricane season. Okay, just remember.
Hey. How's everyone's week going? It's a Wednesday. Come on. We usually don't do podcasts on a Wednesday.
I literally just failed this certificate exam right before I got on. I was trying to take it for work, and the company paid like $125 for me to take this through Adobe. And at the end of it, I saw my score, and I'm like, oh, crap. If I have to pay to renew, take a reschedule, they're not going to be happy. But otherwise, it's been
great.
good.
I got the Sixers on behind me. 7 minutes until they tip off. They're talking about how Tobias Harris is only scoring 9 points a game since Harden got there.
He's been struggling.
The team's been falling apart.
Well, I mean, the team's not falling apart. The team looks great. 7 minutes till tip off. This might have to be a 7-minute podcast.
No.
We can extend it. We got a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for real. I mean, I know I don't want to just hop into something right away, but the Sixers, like I watched Harden versus the Knicks the other day, and I was blown away because there's a lot of times that he had open shots and he didn't shoot them. He is looking to be a leader on this team with Embiid and Maxey. Second year in the league, that's his guy. He passes to Maxey, and Tobias Harris, unfortunately, is being the odd guy out, and he is struggling. If he can stay hot in the corner, dude, the Sixers, man, I'm excited.
The Sixers in general, shooting wise, are struggling. And that's the thing that's going to scare me come playoff time. You have Korkmaz, who's only shooting 29% from 3-point range. You have guys that like Nang who are missing 3-point. Danny Green hasn't been the same shooting a 3-pointer, and that could be the Achilles heel that hurts the Sixers because Harden is producing a lot of wide open shots for these guys. And come crunch time, you have to hit them, and they're not hitting them right now. They struggled against the Knicks the other day. They get the Knicks tonight again, and they didn't blow it. They didn't blow it up until late. So the key is Embiid has to stay healthy because, look, he fell down on Sunday against the Knicks, and everyone held their breath for a few minutes. If he goes down, forget it. It's over.
Well,
yeah, I agree with
injuries.
you. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty. I was just going to say injuries are ultimately going to play a factor at some point here.
Yeah, I just want to throw it in there that we did beat the Minnesota Timberwolves Ace. I'm sorry about that. I don't think it is concerning because a lot of the guys too, they're on our bench guys, right? So it's like, I mean, you can't keep your starters in the game. Especially what's nice is they're double teaming Harden, they're double teaming Embiid. So we need guys like Maxey and Tobias really to get hot because Maxey's stepping up huge, and then you have Thibault is that type of guy. He's only averaging probably 8 points a game, but he is great. They said on statistics, he's one of the best defenders in the league.
Well, and I mean, obviously it may be too early, but I think giving up Steph Curry in the trade overall, his brother. Seth Curry.
Seth Curry.
I think that shooting, all that is going to play into the factor because as ball dominant as Harden is, he's going to end up kicking it out to the corners and expecting these guys to hit shots. So losing Curry, the depth overall might become an issue, especially like what you said, Kris. Embiid is not always the healthy, especially at his size. He's so freaking smooth. But those guys, I mean, I think that's a reason, by the way, why Karl Anthony has developed an outside game. He doesn't want to get bullied around the rim, which pisses me off. You're 7 feet tall. You're as tall as Embiid, maybe not as big. Get down there with the big fella and challenge him. And that's why we got embarrassed by the Sixers. So depth overall, I think, could play a factor in the Sixers' chances. Yep. The Bucs even. There's a lot of teams in the East that I think, especially the Heat. The Heat are considered a contender. How? They have Jimmy Butler and just pieces, I guess.
But the Heat, they have Lowry. They have.
True. I forgot about that.
They have great players down there, and the thing is they have a lot of injuries, and they're winning without all their key players, which is scary. And that's why last week, I picked the Heat to win the title, didn't I? No, I picked them to lose in 6 games against Golden State.
Yes.
I forgot that we did that podcast, actually.
Yeah. So Ty had Warriors, Sixers, Warriors. Kris had Warriors, Heat, Warriors. And for some reason...
I changed my pick. It's Sixers winning all day. After watching those 2 games, I'm full on board with the Sixers. I think Jimmy Butler's going to sign that extension. I just love the type of Harden that we're watching. Like, yeah, he's like passing the ball out, but there's times where it's like, all right, if they're not going to make it, I'm going to shoot this ball in double coverage, and he's making it. Maxey, Harden, and Embiid, they're the next big 3 on our team. I love them. I love the athleticism on this team. I love the brotherhood on this team. I don't know about you, Dad, but this is the first time watching a Philly team. I'm getting pumped.
No, I was pumped when Iverson was there, and they had a good team, and they lost to the Lakers in the finals. But I'm telling you, Maxey is the key. Maxey gets to the hole. He drives fast to the lane. He's like a Ferrari on the court. And that's the thing. He generates shots. He gets to the foul line. Tobias Harris is the one that has to step up, and we have to get him involved more. He went from averaging 18 points a game down to 9, which is going to hurt you because you need someone like that to hit that mid-range jumper. And last week, I think he shot 5 of 18 against the Knicks. That's got to change. You got to improve that.
That's what's huge, too, is that last game versus the Knicks, our free throws are stellar right now. I could be wrong, but at one point, I think Embiid was 23 for 24 at the foul line because he got fouled. There were 77 fouls at one point in that game. The fouls are unbelievable in watching an NBA game anymore. I mean, you just drive, it's a foul. Like you will literally see no contact.
Yeah,
that's what's huge. Yeah, that's what's huge compared to last year too. Is we were missing a lot of free throws last year.
You know, the thing that's interesting too now is all these mask mandates. Philadelphia just got rid of their indoor mask mandate. New York's about to do it. So with Kyrie Irving coming back, I mean, the Nets have been playing great basketball too lately, the last couple of games, and the pieces that we gave them are the pieces that are
without
shining.
KD and Simmons.
Yeah.
Without KD and Simmons.
Yeah, Drummond and Curry are going off over there. They're having great games, and we just gave them a big man and a great 3-point shooter. So I'm hoping to God that this doesn't come back to bite us in the butt.
I really don't think it will. But you also see that DeAndre Jordan, I believe it is, was just waived by the Lakers. I think the Sixers are trying to pursue him hard to be a backup for Embiid because we really don't have a big man.
We got Willie Cauley-Stein, who only played 18 games for the Mavericks, and he is really a has-been.
God, some of these guys that are still in the league, we should play a who's who sometime.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 20 games left in the season, so it's gonna be a great finish.
Well, what's the timetable for Durant returning? Like some of these,
I heard Friday.
I'm not really even sure what he's injured with right now.
I heard by Friday he could be back, and that's the thing. You know, you got him coming back. You still have Ben Simmons. I mean, Ben Simmons is what he is as far as off the court and his problems he's having, but he's still one of the best defenders in the league, and he's one of the best. He can play every position. I mean, the guy's 6 foot what? I don't know, 6'11",
9, 10,
and he's a point
guard. You imagine the Nets versus Sixers in the playoffs coming to Philly?
Yeah. Just think, you could actually get
everybody wants to see that.
You can get Ben Simmons actually guarding a Joel Embiid in the paint. I mean, he plays every defensive position.
Oh man,
I mean, one of those elbows as he's posted up just takes. Oh, I better not break anything.
Just curious, are the Sixers at home tonight?
Yes, we are at home, and they're showing Harden walking in the building right now. Harden getting out of his Mercedes van in his Dapper Dan. Some kind of fire camouflage jacket, bomber jacket with all black on. Yeah,
we gotta get Ty a Jaguars jacket.
Dang man. Oh, yo, listen, like I'm a little upset that you guys know this is to show you how much I appreciate you guys doing this podcast with, because this is Harden's first game at home and we're doing a podcast.
He's been on I didn't even notice that. Okay.
Yeah, we've been on the road for a while now.
The thing that's interesting, though, and this is the thing that I've been saying, the Sixers, and Harden's only been playing with them for 2 games. The Sixers are the best team in the East since the midway point of December. I think they're like 21-7 since then. Mm-hmm. So, they were a good team before them. So all those people say this is the piece that we need for a championship. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Do I hope we go to a championship? Absolutely. But I hope to God we didn't give away good
It's a
pieces.
Huge difference. So you can see a huge difference in the Sixers. I know we've been shooting some bad shots, but the team in general looks better right now.
Yeah, but the problem is like when you have a Thibault on the court, Thibault, he can't hit 3-pointers. Yeah,
but he can
drives to the lane. In the paint. He plays great defense, but offensively in the playoffs is where you need scorers. And defense,
Yeah, but
it's great.
How
but
important is it? How important is it though? He's like a lockdown defender, steals the ball. Him and Harden are great at stealing the ball. Like that's important to have in a playoff scenario.
Mm-hmm. And that's where like the you want to talk Timberwolves, Minnesota homer here. Well, not really, but Timberwolves have no lockdown defender. Maybe Pat Beverly, but he's teeny. He's like one of the smallest guys on the court for us. So
I didn't even know he was on I didn't even know he was on your team. You guys don't have that bad of a team.
Yeah, we can't stop anybody though. I talked about Carl. He doesn't want to play down low. He'd rather shoot 10 to 15 threes a game. Which
they were saying that during the game. It looked almost like at one point getting back in the game was over his mind. Like he just wanted to compete with Embiid and make himself look good.
Yeah, like I hate to say it, as much as I love what we have kind of with the core overall, we don't have an inside presence. So when we're playing with like almost 4 or 5 guys outside the circle or nobody inside the box, we're going to get dominated by the good teams. Even like DeAndre Ayton, for instance, would eat us alive on the pick and roll. So, which we may end up facing them. Do 10 teams get in to the playoffs?
No.
And then there's those the playing game.
They have 10 teams that could make it, but the bottom 2 are some have to play a playing game, or the bottom 3 have to play the playing game to get in, or something like that.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. You know who I'd love to get back on this podcast? I'd love to have Aaron in. What was Aaron's? Was Aaron Summers? I'd love to get her back on. That was because there's a lot going on. We're not jumping to the NFL yet, but there's a lot going on and NBA. With the New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans is like right there in the playoffs. Like they're not far from it.
Okay, what do you guys think about Zion? Number one, is it? Well, here, what is what?
I'll tell you what I think.
Where he's working out just strange? Isn't the whole thing? The whole thing reminds me of Simmons in a way, but
the whole thing, it to me, what it sounds like and what it looks like is it looks like there's too many people in his ear, right? I mean, the guy's played maybe 20, 30 games in his life, and they're expecting him to get this huge max extension that he's coming up with. Like, there's no chance. No, don't get me wrong. When he plays, he averages 27 points or 10 rebounds. I mean, the guy is great at basketball. Mm-hmm. But there is something that nobody else is seeing that's going on behind the scenes. Because, I mean, it's saying that his parents don't want him there. I mean, it took J.J. Redick to tweet out and J.J. Redick never tweeted. The bash almost Zion saying, like, bro, like, you got C.J. McCollum, and it took you 2 weeks to message the guy and say, welcome to the team.
And they're not playing bad either. I mean, they just blew out the Lakers by 20.
Yeah, no, they're right there. I mean, you got Brandon Ingram.
My thing is,
you just got C.J. McCollum.
My thing is though, is that it's a sports problem. When you give these guys all this money up front, it's a sports problem. You don't have to go out and produce now. Make it where you have to work for this money. And I'm not saying they're not working. Athletes, they work their butts off. But when you give them all this guaranteed money, I mean, he could walk away now and live a great life.
With playing what? I think it was less than 80 games.
He played 85 games in 3 years. They compared him to Lamar Odom. Because the same thing happened to Lamar.
How could you just play 85 games out of what 3 or 4 years it's been and be okay with that? Like where is the drive to want to be a professional athlete? Like this is people that I like. I like LaMelo Ball, right? I like John Morant. Like you got these guys like Donovan Mitchell, right? You have people like who the heck's the guy for Portland? Dame Lillard. Like you have these guys that are so good, and even though that their team is going through a rebuild, even though the team might suck when they get there, they play so hard, and they make that team better. Like I hate when you see guys. I'm not trying to decide. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea the situation. But to me, on the outside, it looks like you have a guy who got some money, right? And now he doesn't want to be there. So what's he doing? Like a lot of people do in the NFL, a lot of people do in the sports world. I don't want to play.
Doesn't that remind you of a certain quarterback in Arizona right now asking for money a little too soon?
It does. Hey, his coach just got paid. They both have
coach and GM.
So, he's going to get paid.
His coach and GM just got extended. But anyway, the problem with Zion is he's injury prone. He's out of shape. He's got so much weight on the lower body, and now he has knee and foot injuries. I just think if he doesn't lose a bunch of weight, his career's done, and you see top-notch NBA basketball players saying that his career's in jeopardy. I mean, Charles Barkley and guys like that are saying he's out of shape, and it's a damn shame. This kid's too young to be out of shape.
Where's his teammates to reach out and say, "What are you doing? Like, let's go get in the gym with me," or "What are you doing?" Like, we could use you right now if you would work a little harder. Like, again, I don't know where he's at on his time. I don't even know what his injury is. But, like, again, like
he
you
has a
said,
broken bone.
they're right there.
Isn't it the Liz Frank injury, the broken bone in the foot?
Yep, and I think he had a setback from that.
He might need a second surgery.
There's a lot of question marks.
Yeah,
but the problem is, Ty,
that could be bad.
But the problem is, Ty, he was the number 1 overall draft pick. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I need to play up to that what I was drafted. These guys, whatever they do in the offseason, if he's not, like, Tom Brady has one of the best offseason programs ever. And that's why the guy has the longevity he has with his career. If you don't go and you work out right away after the season's over and you don't get in shape and you become lazy and you just sit around and spend money, this is what you get. Well,
like, who is it? It's like LeBron and Brady. Like, you have, and Russell Wilson. You have a lot of athletes who are following LeBron, and they spend almost $1 million on trainers in off season because they see how well he's taking care of his body in the off season, and how well it's like how long his careers last. Like, you need to invest in your body.
It's unbelievable.
But you see this in every sport. I mean, look at Jamarcus Russell,
do,
drafted
100%.
number 1 overall out of LSU, and he became a fluke with the Raiders. And Zion is falling into that category, unfortunately. He's going to be one of those guys.
I don't think he's going to be a bust. I don't think he's going to be a bust. Yeah, I think if he gets back in the gym, I mean, that's similar to Eddie Lacy. Remember how Eddie Lacy let the fans get to him, and he started to have mental health and got really big and couldn't run it back anymore?
Yeah, and
he was good. He was good.
I think his last stint was in Seattle, but his career lasted, I think, maybe 5-6 years.
Yeah, and he was a pretty good running back.
And look, that's the sad thing is he had the heart and the skills to get there, but he don't have the heart to stay in shape to stay there. And just like that, Ty, it's a business. His career could be over. I mean, they have to make a decision whether to pick up his 5th-year option or not.
And let me tell you, if I'm the GM or the owner, I'm not giving that guy an extension.
No,
not yet. I'm not giving the extension they think he should get. I mean, I know he's good when he's on the court, and again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't even know what to do in that situation.
Well, some more NBA news. DeMar DeRozan's 10-game, 30-point streak was snapped. He was 1 game away from tying Michael Jordan for 11th in Chicago Bulls history.
He's killing it.
He's playing really, really great, and he's keeping that team alive. I think Levine's back now, but that team, that's another tough team. That's why I mean the East is really, really up for grabs. And they got to
he's killing it.
Got to give credit to the Lakers again, who are 0-3 since the break. They are 15-21 since the last 21 games. And they have the hardest second-half schedule. This could be the end of the Lakers as we know them.
LeBron said he's not going anywhere. I just legit think they are lost. They need to find their identity.
Westbrook's trash.
Yeah.
Westbrook's trash. You can let him shoot all day. He's not going to hit nothing. His game is drive to the hole, and that's it. I don't know. I don't know what to say. They spent so much money on that team.
There's a problem with the guaranteed money that the players, a lot of them get at a young age, and then there's a problem with the superstars,
the max contracts
teams, and the max contracts, building the super teams where they just think that, like, hey, I can slide in and make a Russell Westbrook fit into this offense and just kind of supersede the whole organization's thoughts, the GM's kind of direction of the team. It's
we just talked.
You saw that with Harden. Yeah, Harden left 2 different places.
We just talked about Zion. What about Anthony Davis? Street clothes. He's in his street clothes more than he's in his basketball shorts.
Yeah, he got injured again, right?
It's another.
I love that nickname.
That's another big name player who could be carrying that team, who spends more time on the bench watching them playing. Another guy that got guaranteed money.
It's like easy to say this is like a blow up in LeBron's face because he wanted all these older guys and he thought that these were his guys, and some of those guys are good, but again, like you said, Anthony Davis, I mean, he's having a disappointing couple of years. He cannot stay healthy. He should be carrying that. He's the youngest probably on that team. Him, LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook. Like, there is a lot of talent. I know they're older, but man,
and LeBron,
half those guys can't stay off the bench.
And LeBron James proved why players don't make good GMs. Just like Aaron Rodgers wanted to go get Randall Cobb. You have LeBron James who wants to trade a first-round pick and Russell Westbrook for John Wall, who is another injury-prone player. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. As the more we watch sports, the more you realize the habitual, like the teams that habitually make mistakes year in and year out, and it starts at the top. Like, you never talk about the Spurs, or you never talk about the Warriors, you never talk about the Patriots, or some of these like marquee teams where it's like struggle, or there's like down. Yeah, there's down seasons, but overall, I think from the top down, they're run well. which is why I get so fed up with the Timberwolves sometimes, because it's like, sure, there's a decent product on the court now, but like
I like D'Angelo Russell
for decades. Yes.
Boy, I'm a hot mess today, man. I just plugged the laptop in. I pulled over the stand. The camera's going all over the place.
Hey, let's jump in NFL because I have a crazy story I want to tell you guys that I heard. It's about the. I have an inside source.
Do we need to credit a source?
So it's about the Dolphins, and we all know how crazy the Dolphins off season has been with the whole drama with oh my gosh, what's his name? What was the coach's name?
Oh, Flores.
Yeah, the whole Flores drama. You know, the drama about them trying to lose games, the whole drama between Deshaun Watson and Tua.
Mm-hmm.
But listen how the big balls that this franchise has. I guess once the offseason hit, they tried getting not only Tom Brady, but they tried picking up Tom Brady and Sean Payton. They tried convincing both those guys to come play for their organization. Like number one, I heard that, I laughed. Like you have Tua, who is not bad. All right, you just had this whole drama. All right, you go. We'll still talk. You had this whole you had that whole drama with Flores and Tua and Deshaun Watson, and now you're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go try and get Brady, and let's go try and get Sean Payton, who just retired from the New Orleans Saints and is probably going to go work for Fox.
So, think of Tom. So the owner is a Michigan alum, so I think the Tom Brady connection makes sense for the Dolphins. But Sean Payton was under contract. That's so weird to think that they could have potentially called him, probably called Brady too, and just been like, hey, you have an interest in somebody, like, just to be a fly on a wall on some of these high profile conversations. That would be cool to have Aaron Summers on and debunk that rumor or not, because they would have had a trade for Sean Payton, and then I mean, technically, wouldn't they have had to trade for Tom Brady too? You trade Flores for Payton. Trade coaches straight up. I don't know if that's
I wouldn't have done that, because they would have had to trade for Brady too, because Brady wasn't a free agent, right? He was technically just retired.
Yeah,
he still had a year left.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy rumor as well.
Well,
go ahead, Kris.
Well, first of all, we're having a freaking bad night here tonight. I mean, I don't know what's going on. We got the new Arrow, hooked it all up, and now Noah was locked out on the front porch. The door wouldn't let him in. So it's just one of those nights. But Bruce Arians was
we're carrying it.
Bruce Arians was actually on the Pat McAfee show today, and he said that if Tom Brady decided to come out of retirement, he's not going anywhere. That he's playing for us. He's like, I don't care. He's like, it'll take 5 first-round draft picks, and then maybe we'll consider it. And he said, even in the offseason, he's like, with the market the way it is, there's no good quarterbacks coming out of college. If we pick up a top-notch quarterback and Brady still decides to come back in August, he's playing ahead of whoever we have. He's like, because you just don't sit a guy like Tom Brady.
No. And by the way, Pat McAfee will be having Vince McMahon on tomorrow if you want to tune in for that. But there are rumors about Bruce Arians and Tom Brady not getting along, and that just makes me think of Carson Wentz and his coach, Doug Peterson. Like, he debunked that. Carson Wentz was like, we'd never had that back. So I never know what's true anymore. Any days, the media. But I lost my train of thought. Who do you think?
Go ahead.
Who do you think becomes the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year? You have
they drafted a quarterback last year.
I thought Josh Rosen was the backup quarterback last year.
They drafted a quarterback last year, Tyler.
It was Blaine Gabbert and somebody else. No, they might have gotten rid of Gabbert, but yeah,
I'm almost positive. If you on your computer look up Tampa Bay QBs,
they drafted a quarterback last year. Because they were talking about him today. He played under Tom Brady last year, and they feel comfortable with him starting.
Really, really. Now Pete Carroll came out and said that he is not letting Russell Wilson leave like that. I think that is true. I think Russell Wilson's gonna.
Russell Wilson said today on the Today Show, "I'm not going to the East Coast. I am a West Coast guy, and I'm staying in Seattle."
Yeah, I think officially we can probably put a pin in that. I think he is going to stay in Seattle unless someone offers him 3 first-round picks. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Man, I can't believe anything now though.
I know, it's so true
stuff right now. Where all of this could just be leverage and God knows I'm trying to see who the heck they consider the Buccaneers, who they got at QB. Because
in my head, I keep saying this to you. I think now we'll talk about Mr. Trubisky in a second because he's rumored to the Saints.
Kyle Trask. Sorry.
What college
they
you out of?
drafted Florida. I think Kyle Trask was from Florida. If I remember.
Is he light skinned? Is there a picture of him?
He's a white
and
dude.
they have
he?
have faith in him. They said that he was under Brady, and they have faith in him.
Really? That'd be kind of cool. I think that if Jameis Winston gets back to the Saints, because there is videos that he is so far along in his rehab, like he's so ahead. He's throwing deep balls. He's running. I think the Saints are the favorite in that division, and that's why I was asking who you think Tampa Bay's going to get, because I think that's huge. I think if the Saints get Jameis back, I think we're automatic contenders right there.
Automatic contenders?
Like I think we're winning that division in my eyes.
That division right now is wide open.
I think Carolina's very confused at quarterbacks.
You could have 4 new quarterbacks in that division alone.
You could, absolutely. I mean, who knows? Is Sam Darnold going to be the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers next year? I don't know. I thought he started great.
Carolina's shopping McCaffrey too.
Yeah.
So McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. I mean, you got some big name running backs that are going to be available.
Stephon Gilmore, I think, is a free agent too. I don't think he's going to be with the Carolina Panthers next year.
I'd take him.
Now listen.
I don't know. Right? He's 30-some years old, man. I don't know.
Yeah, he's still good.
I don't care. We line him up with Patrick Peterson. Come on. Lockdown corners for the
Peterson's getting old too.
One of the rumors I heard today also too on the McAfee show is Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be on today, but he's not coming on today because he's in the middle of negotiating with the Green Bay Packers on a deal that would make him the highest paid quarterback, actually the highest paid football player in football. And they're saying it's probably a short-term deal, somewhere around 2 years, $100 million, from what I heard.
Wow.
So, okay, this is what I wanted to say about this, and I hope Johnny would agree with me. Tell me how this makes sense. They are negative in the cap by like 20-30 million, right?
Cap doesn't exist. I told you that.
Yes,
cap
it does.
Doesn't exist.
Yes, it does.
Cap does
because
exist.
You can't give him if you give him a short-term contract, that affects the cap immediately. You can't just push that all back to the next year because then who are you going to pay next year? You know, so they are screwed to give him a short-term contract, which means bye-bye Devontae, Devontae.
It's imaginary. I mean, you have teams. How is it possible for teams to be negative and they sign these players? But I agree with you. I think if they make him the highest-paid player in the NFL right now, what are they going to do? They're not going to. Now, I could see them franchise.
Too.
Yeah,
I could see them franchise tagging him if Aaron's there. I think he would accept that if Aaron's there.
They got till next week to put a franchise tag on somebody. March 8th is the deadline to put a tag on somebody. And I don't think it's happening. But there is a team out there. There is one team out there that has 5 picks in the top 100. That's your Denver Broncos, where his offensive coordinator went.
Still keeps. Yep.
There's a lot of rumors that has him going to Denver. Peter King's one of them.
Who's going to Denver?
Aaron Rodgers. I just think I don't think you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see Green Bay give him $50 million a year.
I think you're gonna. I mean, if you're the owner right now in Green Bay and you're sitting there like, all right, we have a quarterback that just won back-to-back MVPs. We would be the laughingstock of the NFL if we let this guy walk right now. You're doing everything in your power to make this guy happy.
But it's got to be one hell of a contract, with incentives or with bonuses.
And also, you got to think, too, be a realist about this. Don't be like us on the podcast. Like, if you were the owner right now, you would be the laughingstock of the NFL if you let him walk away. Like, you are doing everything in your power to keep him there and to keep Devontae Adams.
But going back, the problem is if they are so far in the cap, the only way to offset that is to give a long-term deal, or incentive laden like they did with Taysom. They offered Taysom Hill the 4-year whatever deal. However, it was incentive laden, so they could have offered him 5,000, 500, same as Mahomes, right? If they realistically wanted to, but at the end of the day, there's like a max they know they would pay probably per year, and never go above that. You know why? Because Payton, they had Sean Payton that could control his playing time. They could control those incentives. Yeah. Whereas when you're signing a dude to a short-term deal, especially one of the top players in the league, he's going to want that money. He needs the money. So you can't just roll it over to next year because now you're even more in the hole that year. Yeah, so I don't know how they do that by keeping Adams, by keeping the same team.
Well, maybe they give Aaron a short-term deal and they give Devontae this huge deal that kind of levels it out.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not going to be more than 2 years.
Yeah.
No, probably not. Maybe 3. Maybe I don't know. But I mean, I just think with the cap, I mean, look at the Saints. Saints were 75 million, the cap are 35 already.
Look, my thing is,
I just think
I think
you hear
I
people
think he's going to Denver.
They cut a lot of they made a lot of adjustments in contracts. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you see these NFL insiders, you see Pat McAfee talk about it, and they're just like, it's not real, right? Like, you see that they're in cap hell, but it's like you see these teams that in a matter of a day, they reconstructure one contract and then they go sign somebody. Like, it's just like, they're smart. We don't see what they're seeing. Like, they know what they're doing. There's so many loopholes. Mm-hmm. I just don't think when you go into the offseason, like, wow, my team's in negative 35 cap, we're not going to get anybody. I think it's a lie.
But the thing is, too, is you also have to cut good players to get under the cap. I mean, look at the Cowboys. They're talking about cutting Amari Cooper, one of the best receivers in the league, to free up $16 million. You can't get $16 million from 4 other players on the Cowboys team. So they're almost guaranteeing that Amari Cooper is either going to be traded or cut before June 1st and save $16 million. But that's the problem. You give these guys such ridiculous contracts and they can't hold up to the contracts. You got Zeke making $19 million next year, and we're stuck with that deal. We can't even get out of that deal. It's like $30 million in dead cap space if we get out of it.
Yeah, that's a rough contract.
Yeah, it's the worst contract in football, probably.
Yeah. You're right.
Well, you're right. There are loopholes. Don't get me wrong. There are loopholes. But the problem that these guys are in the high cap hell that they're in is because of the loopholes. You keep pushing out money like this, like the Cowboys did with Romo and all them. That's why you have $70-some million in dead cap money.
Well, let's dive into this Arizona drama, because Arizona is hot on Bleacher Report right now. Not only do they have Isabel, who wants to get traded, they don't think they're going to re-sign Chandler Jones. Before their coach Kingsbury got his extension today with their GM, you had the agent of not only Kyler Murray but Cliff Kingsbury. His name is Eric Burkhart. He comes on, he's doing an interview, and he's talking about all this crap about how Arizona was before Kyler Murray. My quarterback is a 2-time Pro Bowler. Now, what's weird, this is so and I know we're just a local podcast. We don't know anything about sports.
Hey, we're national or regional. No, we're national. We are in Florida.
This is what makes me so mad about sports. And I get it. You know, a lot of people want people to make the most money that they can make in their life. I get that. That's great. You have 2 years left on your contract. Like, these players, the balls that these players have to just come out and be like, you know what? I got 2 years left, but I want a contract extension. That's what he wants. So the rumor was, and I don't know if this is true or not, this is just rumors that I kept hearing through talk shows, is that after that playoff game, the owner was mad and didn't give any of the coaches their playoff bonuses, right? So you have that fueled in the fire. Mm-hmm. And now you have Kyler Murray, who deletes everything off his Instagram. His agent comes out, we want an extension. And so now you have Cliff Kingsbury, who just got an extension, I think, today with the GM. And I would love to see the details on that, because he's the same agent for Kyler Murray, too. So, okay, if you just got your coach hired, obviously Kyler Murray is going to get that extension. And you know what makes this even more intriguing, guys? Is say Kyler Murray gets $50 million a year or whatever it was.
No.
Look at the guys that are better than him that are coming up. You have Justin Herbert, all right? Who's the guy from Burrow?
Derek Carr could even. Well,
now who's the guy from the Patriots who took rookie year, takes them to the playoffs?
Mac Jones.
Oh,
Mac Jones. Like, you look at the young, like, it's like the limit is just getting higher, like, and higher. I mean, to get $50 million and you're still 2 years in your contract, that's going to break the ceiling for the guys. I mean, just
Lamar Jackson's still negotiating his contract.
Yeah. Oh, and that's perfect for him. He's probably his agent's probably sitting back. I think his mom's his agent, actually.
Actually, he does a lot of it himself.
That's smart. I mean, he's probably sitting back, and he's like, you know what? I'm waiting till Kyler Murray gets his extension, because what has Kyler Murray done that I have?
He's better than Kyler. 3 times. He's better than Kyler Murray.
And he's an MVP. And he won
Same
MVP.
with Baker. Yeah. That's a good question. Who would you rather pay, Baker or Kyler? Is that
Kyler all day?
Would you? Okay. Yeah, but you think about the situation.
I like Kyler than Baker. I like Kyler better than Baker.
I like Baker's attitude.
Hurt. Baker was, I honestly don't mind his attitude.
Baker put everything on the line.
Yeah, if you could have bet your entire house on them losing that playoff game just based off of Kyler's emotions or lack thereof and just whatever.
Just off of Kingsbury's history.
Or just
I could be so wrong too. I could be so wrong, but Kyler's attitude just seems like the rumors that came out that it doesn't seem like the guy that wants to stay late work.
And just so you know, Lamar has a great foot to stand on for negotiating his contract. Since 2018, he's the second highest win percentage in football. He's 37-12 with a 755 win percentage.
All right, well let's get, since you brought up the win percentage, Mitchell Trubisky has been the hottest talk. He's been more talked about the past couple of days, more than the combine, more than the quarterbacks or free agents, more than the quarterbacks.
Him and Marcus Mariota.
Yes. Now, Mitchell Trubisky is the more realistic one. The Bills, I don't know if it was the Bills head coach or the GM. He said it is unrealistic to even – I forget how he worded it, but he basically said, like, he's not coming back.
No. It's a weak quarterback market in the draft.
Before we came on this podcast, we were talking about, but the highest win percentage since 2018, you have Mahomes, Lamar, Aaron Rodgers, and Mitchell Trubisky, 25-13. I have defended Mitchell Trubisky like 20 times in this podcast.
He's because one of the teams looking at him.
I know, and I said if we can't get Jameis, I'd love to get Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, you had a quarterback, and this I talked to Bears. There was a Bears fan I worked with one time. I said you had a quarterback. I mean, look like, and you can basically say Chicago Bears quarterback coach sucks because look at Justin Fields. Right, or the offensive line sucks too. But you had Mitchell Trubisky who took your team to the playoffs 2 out of 4 years. Could have went further if that field goal made it. Like, and he was 25-3. Like, the guy wasn't bad, but people saw how good. What do you want to say?
Well, I don't see Ace on the screen, but I want to say, what's Ty's excuse going to be when the Saints go 2-15 with Mitchell as the quarterback?
Oh, like, and that can easily happen. That can easily happen. But like, I think Mitchell Trubisky was one of those situations where he was on a team that didn't want him. I mean, I think people saw how good Mahomes was and how good Deshaun Watson was, and the fans were like, "Why didn't we go get them instead? We got Mitchell Trubisky." Nobody was ever content with who they had, and like he wasn't bad. You know what I mean? That was my argument for him.
The thing that sucks is you go to a bad organization and you're labeled as the problem. And the quarterbacks are the ones that carry the team and carry the whole weight of the team on their shoulders, win or lose. And it's not fair to a lot of these guys. I mean,
that's a lot of pressure.
Look
for you to walk into a building, they hate you.
Look what Wentz is going through. One bad game after getting to the playoffs, and they're ready to throw him out. They said they're so serious at looking at new quarterbacks. Like, imagine seeing those rumors. Like, I wouldn't want to go back. But they're saying there's people in-house that are still fighting for him. Like, Frank Wright is one of the guys fighting for him. It wasn't his fault. Okay. The whole team had a meltdown. They have no receiving core whatsoever. I mean, what can you do?
They imagine go after Godwin. Imagine Chris Godwin ending up there.
Or Amari Cooper. I mean, they have plenty of money. Give the guy a weapon. By the way, this just came out, NFL News. Tom Brady just reported, "I wish I had a clear vision of the future." So the door's still open for this guy. And another thing,
he's done.
Another thing, the Buffalo Bills want to sign Gronkowski.
I saw that too.
So,
I think he wants to go play with Burrow, though.
Yeah, have him come to Minnesota too. Or heck,
I think he was on. I don't know if it was Tom Brady's podcast but he was on a podcast that I would love to play with Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I'll tell you who I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the NFC East for the coming year because you have the Washington Commanders who are absolutely changing the outlook of their team. If they get a good quarterback, they have a solid team. Their defense is solid. And the Giants...
2 good receivers that are young.
And their Giants, that new GM is not messing around. He's already come out and said they're basically looking for a new quarterback. Saquon's on the market, and they cut Kyle Rudolph today. They're making room and they're making changes. You've never saw Dave Gettleman do this much action this early in the season. So this GM and this regime
they said the asking price for Saquon is too high.
Yeah,
which I'm shocked because I know he's good, but he has played one full season.
But they're not messing around in New York no more. I mean, this could come back to be the one of the best divisions or one of the best conferences, I should say. Oh, divisions in football.
I agree with you.
It's been a while.
The Eagles are right there.
Hurts. Like what it
Hurts just came out. They just came out and said Hurts is the starting quarterback for 2020, 23, 22.
Okay. That's some confidence.
I don't know if that was by the Eagles or
look. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't care what
I do too.
I don't care. The Eagles fans are hard on every quarterback they get. They love Nick Foles because he just took them to the Super Bowl. But I just think give the guy a chance. You know what I mean? You have 3 first-round picks. Put some weapons around them. Get rid of Jalen Reagor. And
he's
beef up that
gotten
line.
better and better. He's gotten better and better every year. I mean, his first full season, he took you to the playoffs.
But you got to work on that defensive cornerback position. I mean, you have Slay, and then who else do you have that can help them? Nobody.
Yeah, they got thrashed.
So you fix that. I mean, you got guys like Fletcher and them that are getting older, and Graham and them, but still, I mean, they're one of the best teams in the East.
I mean, that they had like the best rushing game for how long? I mean, that offense is on fire, and they're all young together. But I heard, who is it? Smith, the wide receiver. I heard he had a little bit of. I heard there's a little drama now with him. I heard he wasn't that happy with the season.
Oh,
yeah, the rookie.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's funny? The quarterbacks get paid the most money, but the receivers are one with all the drama.
Dude,
Going all the way
time.
back to T.O. and Randy Moss and all them. The receivers are full of drama.
It's always something. Hey, I will say, though, Michael Thomas, the diva, he is on such good terms with the Saints. He's tweeting out how he's working in the lab again. He can't wait for this season. Oh, gosh, we got to end this podcast.
We got a live report.
Thibault just hit a 3.
Hey, I wanted to dive into this real quick. Sean McVay, who was obviously rumored to retire, there are rumors that he denied about $20 million contract with Amazon for $20 million a year to be a broadcaster.
God. Yeah, 5 years, $100 million, I heard.
Yeah, now that's not official. Like, those are rumors. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. But also, he's one of the coaches who – there's a lot of coaches now that are skipping the combine. They hate going. They'd rather go to pro days. I mean, also, he isn't even going to have a first-round or second-round pick, so you might as well go look at some D3 kids at this point. But, I mean, the GMs and the scouts are they have to go there. They can't skip that. But you have a lot of coaches that are just completely skipping the combines now, just going to pro days.
Yeah.
But Aikman's rumored to get $18 million on ESPN.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk to you about. You know what's sick is that these guys are making more money being commentators than they are than more players in the NFL. I mean, they said Aikman and Romo make more money than Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, and a few other receivers that are in the NFL. I mean, it's insane.
And loads of others.
That is insane. I mean, now you have people like Sean Payton who is trying to land a deal with Fox. I mean, who knows how much money he's going to get?
Well, the rumor has it they're saying that Joe Buck is going to ESPN with Troy Aikman, and they're also talking with Al Michaels. So it could be Al Michaels, Joe Buck, and Troy Aikman all doing Monday Night Football. And they're saying that Sean Payton will be filling the role with Fox and somebody else.
How cool would it be if they did Breeze and Payton on Fox?
Oh, okay, I'll never watch a game again.
No, yeah, God, I don't even know what would come out of their mouths.
I'd be watching a radio call.
Why did Aikman and why are they even leaving Fox and going to ESPN? Why not just do Fox? Like,
it's money, Ty.
Money.
But why don't they use that as leverage and then Fox be like, all right, well, we'll give you more money.
I think Troy Aikman was only making, $11 million, but $11 million with Fox. I mean, you're being offered $18 million.
That's a lot of money.
But I'm just saying, I mean, these guys are getting paid hand over fist just to call football games.
You can't separate those two.
What do they work? 3 days a week?
Yeah.
3 days a week. And you're getting freaking $18 million a year.
You can't separate those guys. And where does Amazon come from? What do they do in Sunday games? Like, are they doing Thursday games?
Yeah, Amazon would exclusively stream Thursday night games.
So it wouldn't even be on TV. It'd be through their app. Yeah,
probably like any Prime subscribers, which apparently is like 1/3 of the country, if not more at this point.
Who's going to tune in on the Amazon app and watch whatever commentators? Yo, you know what would be cool commentators? Drew Brees and Tony Romo. Two great quarterbacks.
Well, but together. No, they'd have to have like a, what do they call it?
A mute button. They'd have a mute button because they'd be talking so much.
Like the main broadcaster, and then those. That'd be so weird to have both of them together.
Imagine getting two of the greatest quarterbacks to be co-defensive coordinators together.
Oh, where's he going?
Like, could you imagine that?
He left a week ago, and now what's going on in his brain?
No, like, you know how like you'll be watching TV and they call
it's the sun rays, man.
No, like think about that for a second. You see them call the plays before they even happen. So if you're a defensive corner up in the box, you're like, hey, they're doing this kind of play, like run this kind of defense. Boom.
Isn't that tampering?
Why would that be tampering? No, like if you're in the box, you're like, hey, like I think they're gonna run this play. Let's run this play.
That would have, but think how quick that communication would have to be.
Oh, yeah, it'd be real quick.
Well, hey, they did it in baseball. Related from the outfield to the catcher or something, or to the dugout.
Let's just hope baseball actually happens, guys, because I miss baseball, and now they're canceling games. It's just not looking good.
Should we pivot? Should we pivot and talk MLB?
Yeah, let's pivot because there's a lot of free agents. I mean, like when does that's another big thing too is when does the free agent market start? I mean, like if you want these guys to hop right into spring training, like you should while they're negotiating, like they should be able to open up free agency because there's a lot of guys that didn't get signed at Carlos Correa, Trevor Story.
But the problem is, Ty, is there was a deal in place, but all it takes is 8 votes to veto any deal. And the 8 smallest market teams in baseball vetoed the agreement, and that's why the owners didn't come up with a deal. So
what are they even discussing? Like, what's the big problem they're trying to fix?
Those they want a salary cap, basically. But these small market teams, they want the luxury tax. These small teams make money off the high spenders. That money all gets thrown around. And
when we talk about this stuff, I get so confused. I just kind of like let it go.
There's like a breakdown between the salary, the luxury tax that Kris was explaining, the arbitration deals, which allows players to have more service time in the MLB to get a contract sooner.
Yeah,
it's just the sides are they're on completely different sides that it's hard to really come to a middle ground. And they
said one meeting was like 10 minutes. They all walked out.
I'm gonna buy my buddy sent me that clown T-shirt with Manfred wearing the nose. I think I'm gonna buy one because
wait. You know what's funny is
sick of him for a while.
Pat McAfee actually said to it. There was a guy on the podcast. He said, "Yo, go get Manfred and tell him to do his actual job." And what's funny is I heard Manfred's not even in these meetings. I heard the players actually like him because he's not in those meetings. It's just the owners.
Well, he represents the owners. He represents the owners, just like Goodell represents the owners in the NFL. But the thing that pisses me off is MLB last year made $11 billion. And here we are fighting over freaking money. The problem is, again, the fans are the ones that lose out. You know, season ticket holders trying to get their money back because they're saying F you baseball, and they're saying, nope, we'll give you vouchers to go to other games. No, they want their money back. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what's going to happen? The owners are going to give in. They're going to give the players what they want, and they're going to raise ticket prices. And who's going to get screwed? The fans again.
And to that point, what you brought up earlier too, Kris, about the luxury tax and the owners, the small market teams, those are the same small market teams that love revenue sharing.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to do a damn thing. They can let their teams tank like the Pirates.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the Pirates. What's their team salary? I mean, it's ridiculously minimal. Yeah. I mean, and the thing that sucks is they benefit from all the other teams, and they just sit back. Teams like that should have to relocate. They should be like, look, you don't want to be competitive? We're going to take your team. We're going to relocate you somewhere else. The league should take control.
The owner should go on it. Yeah, the league should say, okay, you have give us your 5-year plan, basically, and more or less. And if you can't show us what your 5-year direction is for the team, we'll sell it.
There should be a minimum salary. There should be a minimum league team salary. You have to, like, say if it's $211 million is the max, you got to spend at least 150 of it. If you don't spend $150 million on your team to put a good product on the field, we're going to take your team and move you elsewhere to another owner.
And that was another point, Ty, is that the minimum salary, actually, the players wanted to increase by a lot. But again, the owners were only like willing to go, I don't even know what the numbers were, but the minimum salary was one of those points where they couldn't find a middle ground.
Like, I'm sorry, Ace. I mean, I'm sorry. The minimum salary was like $660,000. I mean, that's a lot of freaking money for someone to play baseball. Come on. Yeah. You know, if you're worth the big bucks, you'll get the big bucks. But to come in and be guaranteed millions,
how much of that do you get though? Like, I know, like in LA, like you get taxed a lot. Like we talked about Tatis dealing, so like he lost like a lot of that because of tax.
Yeah, but that's stupidity. That's on his part. You don't have to go to those when you're drafted. You don't got to go to those states. You can say no. My thing is you chose to go there. Tatis could have went anywhere he wanted to.
He wasn't a free agent. They offered him an extension.
Ty, he's a great player. He didn't have to go there.
At the end of the day, it's just a weird dilemma because we all love baseball and want to see it come back, but we're also just, it's like you guys are fighting over like issues that at this point should have been resolved months ago, but you can't even find a common ground right now.
And when it does start, you're going to see such an acceleration. Like you're going to see teams take risks on guys because there's no off season now. Like you're going either right into spring training, probably a week or two, and then it's the season. So like, say guys like Carlos Correa, Trevor Story, their teams are just going to take them.
Well, they're
like
saying,
the Yankees, for instance.
They're saying the season's not going to start till May. They're saying if they sign a deal, it's going to take at least 4 weeks to get geared up. It's going to take 4 weeks of some kind of a spring training to get geared up. They're talking about May. And you know what's crazy is Dante Bichette, who is Bo Bichette's father, he works for Toronto. He had to quit his position with Toronto because you can't have contact with employees of the team. And his son plays for Toronto, Bo Bichette. So he had to quit his position so he can work out with his son. How crazy is that?
Stupid.
Oh God.
And guys like Max Scherzer is going to lose $235,000 a game as of right now. That's crazy.
Wow.
But some of those guys don't need money.
Yeah. What's the Sixers score?
It's 30-25 Knicks.
Oh my gosh.
It's probably because we can't shoot.
Probably because we're not watching.
Anyway, but you know what? Yeah. Baseball is dragging their feet. Let's face it. The owners knew what they were doing. They put that deadline on. It's not hurting them. It's hurting the players because you have players out there that aren't going to get paid, and you have guys like rookies that are just need to get on the field. They're hoping that they bend and they give in. But at this point, if I was MLB, if you want to get this thing over and done with, I'll say, you know what, tomorrow we're canceling the whole season, and have them call your bluff. If they don't sign a deal, then the season's off, end of it. Then the fans suffer. But you can't keep dragging this out and saying we're taking this series away, we're taking that series away. Draw a line in the sand, say that's it. Tomorrow we're going to take away the whole season.
Go ahead, Ace.
The competitive balance is way off, like we talked about. We're like above everything. They're not even focused on that because of some of these other issues coming up.
Yeah.
So just the overall competitive balance between teams, like we mentioned with the Pirates, whatever the other case with a few others, it's like they have no incentive to win.
But
at all right now.
But you know what really
and even just like some of the
what really pisses me off is they knew after the World Series that they were going to have a lockout if they didn't get a new CBA. They waited till like 3 weeks ago to start talking.
Yeah.
I mean, you had all winter.
We talked about it last podcast. Like, there should be a date. If they cannot agree on anything that they did agree on, sure, that can start this season. But there should be a period where if they can't agree on something, all right, we start again next year. The players and fans should not be affected by this.
It's always that way.
I know. It sucks because now it's almost like COVID again. We have to wait while like a 62-game season.
Yeah, I might buy Saints tickets here, St. Paul Saints tickets, but I just realized me buying Saints tickets, they're an affiliate, AAA, to the Twins, which means the Twins owners are still getting paid.
Yeah.
I think. So there's still baseball, but and how does that work? The minor leaguers are on a completely different, they're not a part of MLB players.
Yeah, they're not. That starts up.
Yeah, they don't even care about them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the owners want to get rid of teams. The Players Association don't even give a shit about the players. But they did get them housing this year. I mean, that's crazy. They're supplying housing for them. Unreal.
Conditions in general. I wanted a business expense, just go on the road and see some stadiums to business expense it to the podcast too, even. And without baseball, like I can't even drive to Pittsburgh or, see the Tampa Bay Rays down there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you're closer to Miami, the Marlins.
Speaking of the Miami Marlins, Derek Jeter calling it quits down there as the CEO.
Did, yeah. He did. Yeah, it was shocking. I don't think anybody expected that.
ESPN's after him.
Really?
I'm curious to see where he goes. Maybe he'll be the next Yankees head coach.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Him and A-Rod will do Sunday Night Baseball.
That'd be cool.
Together.
I don't think they like each other.
I don't know.
Well, guys, want to go watch a Sixers game?
We can give it another live update. I love these.
It's a
live
commercial.
updates.
They're showing Allen Iverson.
Well, that's a perfect time in the podcast.
How about real life, though, man? How about what's going on over in Ukraine? Craziness, man. I mean, you got a 40-mile-long Russian convoy.
Cheers to their president. That man is a legend. U.S. was like, let's get you out of there. He goes, screw you. I'm going to fight. He has the uniform on. He's out there in the trenches fighting with his country.
But you know what?
Very freaking soul.
You know what? You know what I say to him? I say, screw you. because when Donald Trump needed you to come out and tell the truth about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, you refused to give up the information. If you would have given up the information, Donald Trump would be the president right now, and you wouldn't be getting invaded.
Wait, that point's... Oh, my...
Zelensky would not give up all the information on Hunter Biden. He refused to.
I just had a euphoric... That's right, because the rumors were that there was business deals in Ukraine around... Oh my God, that's weird.
I did see a crazy stat. I did see a crazy stat, and this isn't like a Trump podcast, but like of all the past couple of presidents, Trump's the only president where he had Russia on a leash.
Yeah, you know what? There's a story out there that he met with Putin, and he said to Putin, "Look, when Obama and them were in office, you went after Ukraine." He's like, I'm going to tell you right now.
Georgia, what was it, Georgia over there?
If you go after Ukraine, if you go and this is supposedly what he said, if you go after Ukraine while I'm the president and you embarrass me, I'm targeting Moscow.
Oh, man.
But my thing is, I think it was 1994. Ukraine was the largest stockpiler of nuclear weapons. And they gave that all up because they signed an agreement with Russia. And the UK, the United States, and Russia all came up with an agreement saying that Ukraine would never get invaded again. And if they did, the United States and the UK would help and defend them.
Okay.
Look what's going on. What's the moral of the story? Don't give away your nuclear weapons. It's nuts. And how about in Ukraine? How about the local beer distributor stopping manufacturing beer and making Molotov cocktails? And they showed those tanks coming down the town, and they stopped in front of this one building, and all you see is Molotov cocktails raining off the top of the building on top of the freaking tanks, and the tanks are engulfed in flames.
No,
I mean, it's crazy.
You know what's crazy?
They're trying to cut off the Capitol. They have a big, huge circle around it.
This is how crazy Russia is. These soldiers, the Russian soldiers that are getting captured, they were told that these were training exercises. Like the one guy before he died,
he messaged his mom.
Like screenshots. His mom, he's like, we were told that these were training exercises, and now we're fighting. They did not even know. Like there's videos of people getting captured. Like we didn't even know. We didn't want to be here. That's
a shame. And Putin, he's not going to, like, international law. He should absolutely, same with Kim Jong Un and even China, but that they got to be held accountable. Yeah,
like the country doesn't want to go to war with us. And then how about also the Tesla guy? He launched that first ever like world's fastest satellite over Ukraine to help them stop blocking like Russia from doing all that crazy stuff to their internets. Yeah.
But you know what pisses me off about our country? We're putting all these sanctions against Russia, and we're doing all this stuff that looks good to the American people, but we're still buying Russian oil. 600,000 barrels a day we're buying from Russia, so we're still funding Russia to battle Ukraine. It's crazy. Gas here now is up to $3.99 a gallon, $3.93 in some spots. Home oil for your house is up over $4.45 a gallon now. The American people are not going to be able to sustain this and live off of this anymore. No. I mean, we're suffocating. I mean, the price of food's going up. You're going to have American people suffering and starting to battle against each other for groceries and everything else just to live a normal life.
You go to the grocery store, there's like the vegetables and fruits, like, bro, like people are stacking up almost like COVID.
There is a scarcity. That's a good point.
Yeah. I went to Costco's the other day, and I remember last summer I could buy 2 packs of ribs, and it was like $19. It was almost $35 now for 2 racks of ribs. The price of everything's going through the roof. I mean, just think, Democratic Party is supposed to be for the middle class. How can the middle class afford to fill their cars when it's almost over $4 a gallon? In some states, it's almost $6 a gallon.
$20 if it's like $4 here. $20 used to give me 3/4 of a tank. It barely gets me under a quarter of a tank now.
Yeah,
and that's just like within the last couple of years, probably even.
No,
last year.
like last year I used to be $20 in my tank, and I would get almost 3/4 of a tank. Now I barely get like half a tank.
That's disheartening to hear.
Sixers are down 14.
I know we never try to digress into armchair politics, but we do.
Something's got to change. Something's got to change. I think.
Look, my thing is like, look, I'm military, so I support whatever president's in office. I really do. But when you become such a freaking complete fool, and the thing is I don't think it's Joe Biden. I really don't. I think he is the puppet for everyone else that's in office, and I feel bad that they're doing this to this man.
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that's our president. Like not against Joe Biden. I'm ashamed that our president is like almost an 80-year-old man that can barely talk sometimes. Like, where is like the John F. Kennedy? Like, where is that young 50-year-old man or whatever the lowest like that can like be America's president?
You're gonna get it in 2 years. You're gonna get that DeSantis from Florida. Hey, no, seriously though.
We'll find out soon in the primaries. These 2022 primaries, I think, coming up.
Look,
how much shifts.
My thing is they can fix all of this. I mean, the thing that aggravates me is whether you like Trump or not. He left, and we had the lowest gas levels possible as far as price. The economy was booming. Unemployment was down. If I'm a Democrat and I won the election, fair or unfair, however you want to look at it, why wouldn't you follow those same policies? It's going to make you look good. Why would you cut off the Keystone Pipeline but open up Russia's pipeline? I mean, that's a slap in the American public's face. I mean, you want to fix this now? Open up our pipelines again. If you open up our pipelines and make us self-sufficient and make us a supplier for other countries,
why don't we use our pipelines?
You're going to lower the deficit. You're going to lower inflation, and we'll be living a happy life again.
This podcast really took a turn here.
It did. It did. But it's the truth. I mean, they had a representative.
Hey, we're just being Americans.
Look, they had a representative on from Alaska the other day, and they said they have 2 oil fields up in Alaska that they can drill on at any time, but they're not allowed to. One of them can.
Why?
One of them can.
Listen.
Hold on. One of them can produce over 800,000 barrels of oil a day. That's amazing. The reason they don't want us, Ty, is because of the whole new Green Deal. They want us to be environmentally safe, and drilling and fracking and all those other things, they feel that it's harmless to the environment as they drive around in their private planes and they cause emissions. And, everything that politicians, good or bad, everything that they say is BS. Like, they want to defund the police, but they want to have police forces to protect them. They want to get rid of oil, but they want to fly their private jets.
I think it's crazy too. Like, it's so real that we do not make anything in the U.S. anymore. I mean, there's these companies that are going out of business, and I heard on Joe Rogan's podcast one day, this guy was talking about how he's trying to make American boots. I mean, you saw in COVID, like, we could get nothing.
China controls everything.
Why? Like, as a country, why do we not make our own stuff?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Money, cost of labor. Sadly, the labor.
I know. I know why, but it's like I just feel like
that's why we're kind of in this sort of globalized economy as well, because we've relied on outsourcing for so freaking long that we're kind of handcuffed to it at some point now.
Well, I heard today driving home on the radio that with the supply chain starting to open up more, things are supposed to get better as far as inflation and everything is supposed to come down. But the thing that drives me nuts is how our market is affected by what goes on over in other countries. And my thing is too is how as Americans and how as NATO can we sit back and watch this country of Russia go in and kill innocent people for no reason at all. There's no justification for this at all.
No.
For him to go in there and kill hundreds of people, thousands of people, it's going to turn into.
Just start bombing them.
And
that's crazy.
For what? For him just to take over that country? I mean, how as today's society, how can we allow this? This is no different than what Hitler did. Hitler started out type of taking small countries,
100%,
and then he got too big for himself, and then he just did too much.
That's why, like, as human beings, we need to stand up. I mean, Russia's civilians, they need. I know that it's probably. I mean, I think people were trying to protest and they were arrested immediately. I mean, it's hard to stand up to a dictator. But this is insane.
The thing that scares me the most is this guy has threatened Switzerland. He has threatened Finland. He is threatening anyone that gets involved and supplies the Ukraine with a nuclear attack. That's what's scary, because I think his mentality is to the point where he just doesn't care, and he's the kind of person that'll push that button.
What's sad is that, and I never wish this upon anybody, but that's the type of man that all the countries need to come together and be like, we need to assassinate that guy. And for someone to threaten people with nuclear weapons, that's insane.
Not to mention misleading his entire army as well as his people, the people that are
But see, his army, I don't think his army, I don't think they like what he's doing, but all his oligarchs and all his big people that are around him that are millionaires and billionaires with him are all into that group. They just don't care, unfortunately. They really don't.
Yeah, just sadly, at least my end to it is there's going to be no, they want to go after Kiev and split that country into two. I think they want to split it into two so they have access to the water. Yeah, they want access to the waterway. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what the former Soviet Union looked like, but strategically they want that waterway too, I think.
Well, he said too that he doesn't like the way the Orthodox Church is changing. He wants to go back to the old style of the Orthodox Church. And that's one of the reasons why he wants to go in and do what he's doing. He's not right. The guy is not right. And the thing that sucks, did you see the other day where he used one of those, I guess it's called the fob bomb or whatever it is? It's like one step below a nuclear weapon. And it's like a percussion bomb or something that has something to do with the atmosphere. And it just incinerates everyone. And supposedly he dropped that in that one city and it killed like 70 people instantly. If that's true and they can find that out to be true, he committed war crimes. I mean, it's just, what are you going to do though? I mean, how do you stop him unless you put troops in there?
You come together as Earth and you stop him.
But my thing is if you put troops in there, it's going to be World War III.
I think if you get everyone to side with you, like I think with like 2/3 of the world together right now, if you can get everybody together and be like, this is wrong. Everyone threatens him, be like, listen, it's either you stop or we're coming in.
Well, he's messed up.
Yeah,
he messed up.
But
he messed up. He'll never be invited to the G7 summit again. He's just basically, the world's gonna go against him. But yeah, we can end it on that. And the Sixers are still losing by 13 now, 49-36 with 7 minutes to go in the second.
Crazy way to end the podcast. Just know there's a lot going on in the sports world, and yes, we are up and rolling again here. Excited. I got my mic, got my iRig.
Lots of prayers for the world, man. The world needs healing.
Absolutely.
All over the place. You got too much fighting. You got too many people. I mean, and then you look at baseball, who can't even come up with an agreement, but you got people dying over in another country for no reason at all. Yeah. And you got millionaires fighting over money. It makes you wonder. Makes you wonder, man. How do you get out of bed in the morning? How do you get out of bed in the morning? Rich fighting for more. Breathe
and smile.
Yeah, but this will be up on all platforms as soon as I figure out how to do it again, Ty, with your help. And, eventually I'll figure this out.
We're doing good with it. It's a big adjustment period. We do hope you guys enjoy it and continue to share it, show support. Appreciate you guys. We hope you have a good week.